When I was 13, I had an experience that changed the way I looked at people for the rest of my life. I remember I was at the lunch table with some of my friends, and I was in the middle of a conversation. I looked over and I saw this girl that was sitting alone. And to paint the picture, she was a little bit heavier set girl, a little bit quieter. She was kind of socially awkward. I'd only had, like one class with her, so I'd never really talked to her, but she sat in the back. She was just really quiet. And I was like, I should go sit with that girl. So I looked over to my best friend at the time who sat right next to me and I said, hey, dude, we should go sit with this girl. And he looked over at me, kind of disgusted. He was like, why would we go sit with her? And it hit me in that moment. Let's go do this. So I immediately stand up, I grab my stuff, and I go walk over to her. And I look at her and I say, hey, excuse me, do you mind if I sit next to you? And she didn't say anything, but she looked up and she just kind of shook her head. And so I sat down next to her and I was just eating my food. I started asking her questions about herself. And while we were talking, I remember asking her, I said, hey, what's your favorite treat and drink? Because, I don't really have very many questions or the social skills when I'm 13 years old. And she told me, I remember it was a Diet Cherry Coke and a Twix. So we kept talking. We talked for maybe 20 minutes, talked to her about the book she was reading, things she liked to do. And I said, yeah, it was nice talking to you. I went and grabbed my stuff and threw it away. And then when I threw my stuff away, it hit me. I'm like, I should go do something nice for this girl. So I went over to the office ladies and I was good friends with them at the time. And I said, hey, I want to put together an anonymous care package for this girl. So I wanted to get her the Diet Cherry Coke and I want to get her the Twix and I wanted to write her a little anonymous note. So I wrote in the note, I said things like, hey, I notice you. I'm so glad you come to school. It's great seeing you every day. Just something that would be meaningful and it's kind. And I remember I went with the office lady and we found her locker. We went over to her locker. We opened it up and we opened the locker. A little note fell out. And I was young. I shouldn't have looked at it. But I remember I picked up the note and I opened it. And I remember quickly looking over it. And this girl wrote down things in that note and said things about herself that no person should say about themselves. And she planned on doing things to herself that no person should do to themselves. And in that moment, I didn't even know what to do. It hit me like a truck. I just sat there and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. So I folded up the note, put it back in her locker. We put all the stuff in the locker. We shut the locker and I just kind of sat there for a second. And it hit me. I didn't know any of this was going on. I didn't know that this girl was struggling. You could have guessed if you were mindful, but I never would have guessed it. I remember I put that in her locker and I walked far away and so that, that she wouldn't notice me. And I remember when the bell rang, she went to her locker and I remember her opening up her locker and she opened it and she saw the Diet Cherry Coke and the Twix. And she opened up the letter and I saw her read the letter. She just started crying. And in that moment, it hit me like a truck. I could do this every single day and I would never get sick of it. I felt so good that doing something kind for someone, it took nothing, but it means so much to this person. It meant so much. And I remember the next day she shows up to school and she's all done up. And for the rest of my 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year, I had sat with that girl frequently. She's an awesome person. Most people I've absolutely never told this story to, but the reason I'm sharing this now is to hopefully inspire someone to be mindful of what's going on around you and say that nice thing to that person. Be kind to that person that needs it a little bit more. You don't know what people are going through. Be there and listen to people. Having a conversation with them means so much and it takes so little. So for whoever that this finds, I hope it means that it inspires you to do something good. So many of you said that a small act of kindness from a classmate or a stranger or just someone who didn't have to care stayed with you for years. And some of you had said that you wish someone would have done that for you. And what hit me the hardest is realizing how deep these moments go. One simple choice, sitting down with someone, speaking up, noticing someone, can literally change the way someone sees themselves. And when people share these stories, it doesn't just heal them. It reminds other people that they can be that person for someone else.